Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I am Rockin Robbie Billups, and it is time for the weekly comic book review. That's right everyone, weekly comic book review. It's the show where I read a lot of comics, and I let you know what I thought about them, and we always start with the pick of the week. And this week's pick of the week, Dark Days, The Forge, the one-shot, the prelude to this summer's, or at least in August, the upcoming Dark Knights Metal giant epic series, giant thing that they're promising from Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, right? Kind of building on stuff that they've established in the Batman run. So, the Scott Snyder stuff in Batman, it starts off really strong, and then it really started losing me during the Joker story, during the first Joker story he did, Death of the Family. So I thought it was okay, but I really do like Court of Owls, right? This book was awesome. This book was really, really cool. I was super nervous because everything that we've seen so far for all this metal stuff that they're doing is very mysterious. We know it's like a dark multiverse. It's going to spawn out this whole new line of comics, the Dark Matter comics. It's got crazy stuff attached to it, right? But it's Batman-centric, and it's Scott Snyder, and I was nervous about it, but this book blew me away. This is DC multiversal crisis-level type stuff. This is really cool, and it came right underneath my radar because I was sleeping on it because it's Scott Snyder and it's Batman-related, but this was a treat. It was delicious. First of all, look at that cover. It's got a chromium, kind of chromed out type cover because it's metal. Get it? That's kind of fun. And it's got some top-level artistic talent. First of all, Scott Snyder is joined by James Tynion IV, who's doing a fantastic job over on Detective Comics. More on that later. He helped Scott Snyder out with the script. We got Jim Lee, Andy Kubert, and John Romita Jr. It's three of the biggest artists that DC has at their staple right now. And they have unleashed them on this, and it was just really, really cool. It's very mysterious, it's very intriguing, it was very engaging and very enthralling. I loved this book. I thought it was amazing. It blew me away. I love this book in the way that I love things like Final Crisis, Infinite Crisis, all the crisis type events. It has that feel. It could be something big. We shall see if they deliver on the promise. I'm not going to really get into it right now. We'll talk about it later. But this book was awesome. It's $4.99, but a super cool cover. It's really thick. It's got a lot of story in there. So don't be afraid of this book. Definitely check out Dark Days, The Forge. This book is awesome. This book is awesome. Issue 1 of that little, I think it's a one-shot, right? Because the casting is next, but that is awesome. So let's move on to some other DC titles that I read. Action Comics 981, Kneel Before Zod. And look, that's cute. He's actually kneeling before Zod. The Superman books have been great. If you're following my channel, if you're following these videos, you know I love the Superman books right now at DC. They are amazing, have been in a great state ever since DC Rebirth started. This book is fun, and Superman kind of gets his tail whipped by some people in here, including Zod. And I love the idea of Action Comics being such a giant, explosive type story as opposed to Superman's more personal, family-oriented tales. I love the dichotomy of that, I really do. So Action Comics lives up to its name. Lots of action, lots of just slam, bang, powerful stuff, huge stakes, some cheesy dialogue and one-liners here and there. But Cyborg Superman, the Eradicator, and General Zod, all my Superman dreams are coming true. And it's very exciting, is it not? James Tynion IV, we talked about him just a minute ago. Detective Comics 958. He has been doing a hellaciously awesome job on this title. It's my favorite Batman book. I'm not really impressed at all by Tom King's Batman, but this to me is where it is. Focuses a lot on the Bat family, but you never feel like there's not enough Batman. You feel like everybody has their chance to shine. And everybody so far has kind of been getting their own story arcs. This seems to be the Azrael-focused story arc. It's really cool. So if you like Azrael, that's intriguing, but the art is really, really cool in here. And the guy who's drawing this, the way he did the Penguin, who is this, by the way? It's Martinez, right? Yeah, Alvaro Martinez. The way he draws the Penguin, very Danny DeVito-like, and I think that's a good direction to go. I love the dark, sunken eyes, and I guess that skinny kid in Gotham kind of has that same look. So maybe we'll move to that. I think I think Penguin should be more creepy. I really do. But Detective Comics is fun. This is a great first chapter in, what is the name of this story? Intelligence, and it involves Azrael. It's got a lot of Azrael stuff. Awesome stuff in this book. Definitely got to check that out. The Flash number 24. I don't want to spoil anything yet, though it should all be common knowledge, but a former big a villain is back. Someone came back from the dead, and they haven't been dead for very, very long. But this book is very exciting because of it. Plus, it finishes up the team up between Barry Allen, almost said Wally West, Barry Allen and Hal Jordan, and that's always fun. Great colors, lots of high energy in this book. Carmine Dijon-Domenico doesn't do all of the artwork, so it is a little inconsistent, and some of his pages do feel a bit rushed. So artistic problems aside, this book is still very, very fun. And really, if you're following DC Rebirth, if you like this stuff, if you like the button, this is great follow-up stuff to the button. It's really intriguing, really cool, and it deals specifically about the whole DC Rebirth, what's going on, reality's changing type thing. So there you go. Check out The Flash. You know I've been liking The Flash. Joshua Williamson is the writer on that, and he's been doing a great job. Speaking of writers doing a great job, Greg Rucka has been doing a great job on Wonder Woman number 24. Is the penultimate issue. There's one more left. 25 is his final issue. And after the last issue, I was like, what more can he do? He can just basically wrap things up in 2 issues, and he is wrapping things up in these 2 issues, but he's doing it in a fantastic and majestic fashion. And I think it's awesome. And you really need to check out Greg Rucka's Wonder Woman. It's one of the best runs of the character. They've really changed up a lot about her origin, what it is all about, the Themyscira, her mother, her relationship with her mother, Ares. All this stuff has shifted and changed yet again. It's like they're always changing Wonder Woman's origin and history and story. And here it is again, right on the heels of this new movie. Right, so people love the movie, and it's a great movie. They nailed the character of Diana, and Greg Rucka nails the character of Diana every issue of Wonder Woman, and he's only got one left, so you definitely got to check it out if you haven't already. In the trades, I'll throw those links down below for his Wonder Woman books, book 1 and 2. There you go, check it out. DC's done some weird things lately. They did the Hanna-Barbera DC crossover. Now they're doing Looney Tunes DC crossovers. And I read an interview, and they asked one of the editors or a writer or somebody, and they were like, why would you do this? And they said, well, the question is why not? And exactly, why not? If you have the properties, use them. And this one's a no-brainer. Martian Manhunter meets Marvin the Martian. This was fun. It's doofy. It's silly. It's not going to change your life. But if you love any of these 2 characters, you will like this book. And what's really cool is there's a big story in it. It's really neat, and actually tries to talk a lot about the character of John Johns, of Martian Manhunter. So that's really cool. And we haven't really seen Martian Manhunter at all, pretty much at all, in DC Rebirth. All those references to Mars, are they about Dr. Manhattan, or are they about Martian Manhunter? Anyway, we haven't seen him in a while, so it's just cool to see him again. And it's this nice big story. And then the follow-up, there's a backup story that's more in the vein of the Looney Tunes type comic book, the Looney Tunes type animation style with Marvin the Martian. Marvin the Martian is so funny, and he's one of my favorite Looney Tunes characters. Rob Williams, if you're watching this, I know you're going to love this book. Super, super fun. Definitely check that out. However, also was Legion of Superheroes Bugs Bunny, and I gotta say, this one was not very good. So if you're just in the mood that you gotta get all of them, I would recommend it. Otherwise, this one, it's goofy and doofy just like the other one, but it's not cute. It's just, to me, this was dumb, it was bad. Now, I am not a huge Legion of Superheroes fan, but I thought the art was terrible, and I used to love Tom Grummett's stuff back in the day, Superboy, Adventures of Superman, you know, that stuff. But this was really, really bad, very stupid, really cheesy, and just, The only bits that were good in here were the actual bits of Bugs Bunny. Like, Bugs Bunny himself was actually handled really well, and could you do him otherwise? But the backup story in here, and I was hoping, because I made it through the main story, I was like, well, at least maybe the backup story will be good. And it was just a retelling of the main story in a more Looney Tunes animation type style. That was lame. That was super, super lame. Something that wasn't lame was DC Young Animals Bug, The Adventures of Forager number 2. This is Kirby-tastic. Kirby-tastic. Man, I messed that up. But it is amazing, and it pops with all kinds of Kirby crackle and awesomeness. This book is amazing. Mike Allred, Lee Allred, Laura Allred, the Allreds, they're here. This book is so fun. If you like anything from the Allreds, like Madman or the Silver Surfer work, you'll love this book. If you love anything from Jack Kirby, especially his New Gods type stuff, the crazier the better, you'll love this book. It's super, super fun. I like the story a lot, and I like the way that they are telling the story. Really, really cool. And Allreds are always pushing the boundaries in their work, and this is one of those books. And this is super fun, super zany. If you like the DC Young Animal stuff, you will like this. Otherwise, if you're a Kirby fan, you'll love it. And if you're an Allred fan, you'll love it. But I definitely think you should give it a try. I think it's only 6 issues, but this book has been a treat. It's been amazing. let's move over to Marvel. Defenders #1, because there is a Defenders series coming very, very soon from Netflix in August. And it's not the Defenders that typical comic book fans have known and grown to love over the years, like Doctor Strange and the Hulk and Silver Surfer and Namor. But it's Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil, because that's the Netflix shows, and they're putting them together in the Defenders, and why not? Sounds cool to me. And this book was amazing. This book was awesome. It was really, really, really cool. It's written by Brian Michael Bendis, of course, with artwork from David Marquez. David Marquez has worked with him before, I believe. Was it Iron Man? Yeah, was it Iron Man? Was it Ultimate Spider-Man? One of those two books, maybe both. But I remember that they've worked together before. They work very well together. These characters are more attuned to what Brian Michael Bendis does best at Marvel. The street level stuff. His Daredevil run was amazing. His Jessica Jones stuff now is all right, but the old stuff, the Alias stuff, was really cool back in the day. I thought this book was amazing. And brilliant, brilliant colors. Who did the colors on this? The colors are by Ponsor, I believe. Yes, Justin Ponser. Seriously, kudos off to you, dude, because the colors in this are amazing. The artwork is sleek and sly and sophisticated, and the story is really, really good, and it's Bendis-esque, but not too Bendis-esque. Does that make sense? If there's a part of Bendis' writing style that annoys the hell out of you, that part is toned down in here. And if you're annoyed by some of his writing style, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you're a Bendis head, you're definitely going to love this. It's amazing. It was really fun. Lots of cool action, lots of cool jokes. The story moved very briskly and very cool. It was paced very, very well. It's a thick comic, and it's $4.99, and there are a lot of pages, but the story does move very fast because it's a very efficiently written story and drawn story. It's very well executed. This book was awesome, and it's got me really intrigued, and Diamondback is back, and Bendis has made Diamondback really, really badass again. So definitely check out the Defenders. And also from Marvel, we had Secret Empire #4. So Secret Empire is an interesting thing in concept, but in execution, I don't know. It seems a little lackluster. Issue 4 was a lackluster one, especially with Lionel Francis Yu and Rod Reyes, other people getting in there. The artwork is very inconsistent and muddy. The story is okay. They're after a shard of the Cosmic Cube, and Ultron, Hank Pym fusion dude has one, and it's this weird like family dinner, like Thanksgiving family, I don't know, it's weird. It's so weird, and this was not the best issue. Last issue was okay, but I didn't feel like it moved the story forward. This one moves the story forward, but it just wasn't very good in my opinion. I just feel like we missed too much in the story. We missed too much of the actual act of the Empire winning, the actual act of Captain America winning as the leader of Hydra and defeating, and I know it happened so quick, and I don't know. I think some of the other stuff surrounding Secret Empire has been a little bit better because it deals with the world that's actually I don't know. This issue was not for me. I just didn't like it that much, guys. I don't know. I really hope that book pulls itself together because oh, by the way, the crazy Steve Rogers that's around that doesn't know where he's going, all that stuff, that's totally his subconscious, right? Like, we know that. Secret Empire United #1. This is a one-shot that deals, I thought it was Cloak and Dagger because there was a variant cover, but it's not. It actually deals with the X-Men and the X-Men world, and that's cool. And you find out the puppet pulling the strings of Zorn in here. So if you're interested in the X-Men and where they are during this whole Secret Empire stuff, definitely check this book out. It's actually not bad. The artwork is good in parts and then really bad and trashy in other parts, but overall the story is pretty solid, and it does set up something that could come to fruition by the end of Secret Empire. So you definitely, it has something that will come to fruition in Secret Empire. So at least you definitely want to peek at it to check out what exactly that is. A Secret Empire tie-in, Sam Wilson, Captain America #23. Sam Wilson's been a great book. This is not one of the best issues. It's all right. It's kind of like a fill-in throwaway story in the middle of Secret Empire. And that's what Secret Empire #4 felt like to me this week. It felt like more like that should have been a tie-in book, and not like anything to do with the main book. But anyway, this is okay. It's kind of sad. It's a tragic little story, but it's not the best issue of this yet at all. And I think it's just got the tie-in fatigue, I don't know. This one was all right. This book's typically been really, really good, though. Generation X #3 released this week. If you remember, #1, I adored, made the pick of the week. #2, I didn't have very many nice things to say about it, didn't really like it. But man, what a rebound for #3. It was amazing. I really liked this book. The characters shine once again. The characterizations come through. The story is very characterized. Character. That's what this book is about, and I really, really like it. Quentin Quire nailed. All the voices are nailed. I like this a lot, and it seems to be better when this book's just dealing with these people and they're like these kids learning each other. This is like the new class and some of the older new class at Xavier's, and it's really good. I liked this issue a lot. Got some really fun stuff in it. So definitely am looking forward to seeing how that progresses. X-Men Blue #5. This book is my favorite X-Men book right now, like main X-Men book, as opposed to X-Men Gold, I guess. X-Men Gold's got the characters that you're looking for, but X-Men Blue's got the action that you're looking for. It is written and feels the most like a classic, fun X-Men book. They're bringing in Jimmy, the son of Ultimate Wolverine from the Ultimate Verse, and a whole lot of other Ultimate characters. They explain that in here. The villain is introduced, and it's really, really cool. Sharp, clean, crisp, not clean and crisp artwork. It's a little rough and edgy, but it is clean, and it's not too complex where it's like distracting or anything like that. It actually works really, really well. I love this book. The characterization of these young X-Men that are now out of time and in their own reality and completely different than they ever were. I'm loving this stuff. I'm eating it up. It's great. It's super fun. And I'm really liking their take on this Ultimate Wolverine. Really like it. The X-Men books have had a resurrection. They have. Let's just be honest. The X-Men books are a lot better today than they were 6 months ago. For sure. So let's just... there you go. More resurrection books. Old Man Logan #25. This debuts Ed Bryson's run on this book with artwork by Mike Deodato Jr. I'm not always the biggest fan of Deodato's artwork, but it's really, really good on here. This is one of those times where he really shines and his artistic talents really come through, and it's obvious. Artwork is amazing in here. Story is all right. Once again, we're hearkening back to something from the Mark Millar Old Man Logan book. I was hoping that with Jeff Lemire stepping down and Bryson coming on, that maybe they would go ahead in a different direction. Doesn't seem to be what they want to do, but it is very fun, very action-oriented. It is disappointing that they went right back to just dwelling on things from the initial Old Man Logan run by Miller and McNiven. But aside from that, artwork's pretty solid. The characterization is pretty solid. It's fun. It's an action book, so there's that. It's not... I don't think it's going to get as deep as the Jeff Lemire run did, but we shall see. It wasn't bad. It was better than this homie. He's the same guy's writing Iron Fist. Not really liking that one, but this was a pretty solid first issue of his run. So they're definitely worth checking out if you've been liking that book. Weapon X #4, building up to the Weapons of Mutant Destruction storyline, where we got the really obnoxious Hulk Wolverine hybrid thing coming from Weapon X. This book is all right. It's fun. Like I've said before, it's the Rambo of the X-Men universe. It's just mindless action, really fun, cool stuff. But can we get Greg Land off of this book? Because his artwork is worse and worse every year, and every issue it's worse and worse right now. But aside from that, the book is all right story-wise. It's leading up to the one-shot, the Alpha Prelude one-shot or whatever. I think that's next week. So if you've been liking Weapon X, you're definitely going to want to read this. But seriously, some of the worst Greg Land artwork. Can we get a new artist on this book, please? Thanos #8. This is the book that I started out hating, and now I love it. Love this book. The stakes have been raised super, super high, and now the team that was drawn together by Thanos' son Thane to kill Thanos at his biggest moment of weakness as he's dying, near death, they now have to go back to a dying Thanos and beg for his help to defeat his son Thane, who now wields the power of the Phoenix. This book is crazy. It's crazy. You should read it. This book is crazy, man. It's really good. Hulk #7. So, the Hulk book, new She-Hulk book basically, but it's called Hulk because she's just Hulk now, right? And that's awesome. Jennifer Walters is Hulk. This book has been amazing. It's been written by Tamaki. What's her first name? Mariko Tamaki has been doing an amazing job with this book. The first story arc was amazing. She's turned the Hulk into a story not about anger and wrath, but about trauma and the anger and wrath that comes from that. And it's really, really good. And the first story arc was really cool. This starts the next story arc. That's the true test. Can we keep the momentum going for the second story arc? And the first chapter in the second story is amazing. This was really, really fun. Really good. The way that it's written, the way that she's writing this, you're really caring about these characters, and some bad stuff might be happening very, very soon. We don't know, but this book is amazing. I love this new take on Jennifer Walters and the Hulk, and I just think it's amazing. Highly worth your effort in checking it out. Seriously, Hulk has been a great book. Black Panther and the Crew, #3. Ta-Nehisi Coates has been doing amazing stuff with Black Panther. We got a movie coming out, and they've been doing all these little books, and this is Black Panther and the Crew. A chance to there was a Crew book back in the day by Christopher Priest, who did an exceptional run on Black Panther, and this is kind of like hearkening back to that a little bit. You got a little bit of Misty Knight, you got some Storm, Luke Cage, and of course T'Challa, Black Panther himself. First issue I loved. It was a great Misty Knight detective story. The second issue faltered a little bit. Third issue was very solid. It explains a lot about what's actually going on, who this Ezra Cat is, what exactly he's been up to. I love this book. I think Coates is a very talented writer. Very excited to see him in comic books, and I thought this was a really, really cool book. And he gets to speak a little bit on something that he hasn't really gotten to speak on yet, and so that's super, super cool. But definitely check that book out, especially if you're a huge Black Panther fan. Venom, #151. So I'm reading Venom again now because Eddie Brock is back, and I love Eddie Brock Venom. It's like one of my favorite characters ever. I just adore Eddie Brock Venom. This book is all right, though. It's not the greatest. It feels like some of the... Venom wasn't that great back in the day. I just have a huge nostalgic, awesome feeling every time I'm reading Eddie Brock Venom books. And the artwork by Sandoval is not my favorite. I do not like this artwork. Yeah, Gerardo Sandoval. I do not like this guy's artwork. I wish Trad Moore, who did the last issue, would be the regular artist on here. I would just be goo goo gaga crazy if that was the case. But Mike Costa is crafting a decent script. It's all right. It's intriguing enough. It's a very elementary type script, and it's set up, but it's cool. It's all right. And there are moments even when I don't mind Sandoval's artwork. Moments. Brief moments. Just so you know. So let's move on to some independent books real quick before we wrap up. Kill the Minotaur, the Minotaur. It's the Minotaur, right? Kill the Minotaur from Image Comics and Skybound. Didn't really like this one, so it's kind of like a retelling of the Minotaur story and King Minos and all that stuff. I don't know, it's just, there are moments where it's just crude and vulgar, just for the sake of being crude and vulgar, and then they repeat it, like the exact same thing, and I just don't like stuff like that. This felt very... It felt very like middle school, like a juvenile. It felt juvenile. Absolutely. Didn't really like it that much. There are elements of it that were super cool, like the crazy priest dude or whatever that wears the Minotaur helmet or whatever. That's kind of cool. The art's not bad. Really cool, like scenes of people getting like gouged and killed and stuff like that. But overall, it didn't really do much for me. I can't recommend this book at all. Seriously, not at all. Catalyst Prime, they did the Noble book. Didn't really like that much. Now we got Accell, #1. He's basically a speedster. This is written by Joe Casey with artwork by Damian Scott. So it's really cool to see those guys from, the late 90s, early 2000s. They were kind of like around, Scott. That is Scott, right? Yeah, Scott did Batgirl when it was Cassandra Cain. Fantastic run on that. His artwork here is not as good, but it is very energetic and dynamic, and it flows and it has an energy and a movement to it that is essential to a book about a speedster. And Joe Casey was an awesome writer, one of my favorite writers back then. He had the unfortunate job of following up Peter David's 12-year run on the Hulk with some books that I thought were amazing, but everybody else hated. And he had a Deathlock run where he reimagined Deathlock as a different kind of book, and I really liked that. Leo Manco did some of the artwork on that. So I was a Joe Casey fan back then, and so it's cool. This is actually serviceable. It's cool. It feels like the best superhero comics from the late 90s, and that I mean as a compliment. Absolutely, because I think the late 90s are overlooked when it comes to superhero comics. I think people just go, oh, 90s comics, they were all garbage. There's some stuff in the late 90s we really need to pay attention to. Astro City, anybody? Avengers, anybody? By Perez and Busiek? Come on, guys. You know what I'm talking about? Starman into the late 90s. Jeff Johns' his approach into comic books. Come on, y'all, come on. Some good stuff superhero comic book wise in the late 90s, and this has that feel to it. I would highly recommend this one. Noble wasn't quite for me, but I did enjoy this one, and I will read the next issue, definitely. So there you go. And the final issue of Gem and the Holograms. This series was amazing. It was brilliant. Written by Kelly Thompson. Thank you so much, Kelly. You have done an amazing job with this. You have turned me more into more of a Holograms fan than I ever have been. I grew up loving the cartoon, but too afraid to buy the dolls because I didn't want to get made fun of, because I had already been made fun of for having a Wonder Woman action figure, right? And I wish I would have had the cojones back then to buy those gem figures. Absolutely. I want those gem dolls, but I never bought them. And now they're way too pricey. Way too expensive. But seriously, IDW, Kelly Thompson, thank you guys so much. This book has been amazing. It's been outrageous. It's been such a fun thrill ride. I've loved every minute of it. And it survives because there's that Infinite series. There's a 3-issue Infinite Gem series and a 3-issue Infinite Misfit series. That's very exciting. So Gem is still around. It's just the final bow for the first main series. So thank you guys so much. Seriously, check out Accell. I would pass on Kill the Minotaur. Venom, you know, if you're a huge fan like me. Black Panther, don't sleep on it. Thanos is awesome, guys. Absolutely. X-Men Blue and Generation X are solid as hell this week. The Defenders was snazzy and dazzling and really, really good. Bugs Bunny Legion, no. Martian and Martian, absolutely. Wonder Woman, don't sleep on it, it's amazing. But straight up, guys, Dark Days The Forge, if you just buy it for that cover alone, it will be worth it. But that's what I read. That's what I thought about it. Let me know what you thought about what you read down below. I love talking to you guys about comics, and I appreciate you guys commenting when you do. Thank you guys so much. Please do like, share, and subscribe. I do this every single week. We also do movie reviews, toy reviews, podcasts, all that and more. Can be found at popculturephilosophers.com. And don't forget to support us on Patreon to unlock exclusive content. More news on that coming very, very soon. And thank you, David Hatch, for being our first Patreon supporter. You rock. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for rocking with us, and we'll catch you next time. Keep reading.